And by the way, Internet Explorer, I was around in 95, actually 94, but really when Windows 95 was released, that was like the first wave of mainstream folks that were outside of academia, the military, and rich people. That was the first wave of general people. Windows 95, where if you wanted to connect to the internet, all you had to do was, know your TCP settings. And all you tech idiots that were back, well, I wouldn't say tech idiot, but, like tech support people, the support desk people, that's literally what made people get paid for at least 5 years. I'm not even joking. All right. I don't understand my TCP setting. And by the way, Netscape Navigator Gold was the badass browser at the time. That was gold at the time. All right, fuck Internet Explorer. And I do agree that Internet Explorer, because they packed it with the fucking operating system and Windows 98, and it kind of eliminated the whole idea of Netscape Navigators. But let's not talk about that. It's old stuff. Dude, Angel Fire pages, GeoCities, websites. Believe it or not, I was really big in a chat community called the WBS.net. And before like mainstream chatting came about, you had to program, like, it wasn't necessarily a chat. It was like a message board that you could refresh. Most chat rooms in like 94, 95 were written in Perl language, which is a very, very complicated language. And WBS.net was awesome. Was absolutely awesome. And I missed that community very much. It was the first wave of general people, on the internet. Blades Colon, can you flex about how much you know about talking about TCP settings, Grandpa? Well, I don't really want to flex about anything. I just want to let y'all know that, I've been around these internets. I was visited by the feds back in 98, 99 when I was, fucking scanning IP addresses. I've told you about the fucking time, but there was two major Trojan horses that were, being put into computers all over the internet from 95 to about, I would say 99. And it was Back Orifice, which was created by the Cult of the Dead Cow, which I may or may not know. And also, there was a beautiful fucking program written that was a Trojan horse that anybody could literally do. It was a graphic user interface. I think it was written in Delphi, if I'm not mistaken, the program language Delphi. And it was released by the Sub 7 crew. Mobman was the guy that dropped it, but the Sub 7 crew were like 7 dudes that were hardcore programmers and shit like that. And their default port, whenever you threw in a server, it was very easy to send servers, because I think the servers at the time to be able to install so you could be able to kind of penetrate any computer was like 30 kilobytes. So you can attach it to a file or something. They execute it. Boom, the server's there on the person's computer, and the default port of the server, okay, when it was executed on your Mark's computer was 1243. 1243 was the default port. So I got visited by the feds because I was scanning massive amounts of IP addresses. And I was scanning not just 1243. There was a couple of other ports for, I was scanning the default ports. And if they had the default port, what I would do is I would, take the graphic user interface, or what is now known as the UI or the prog back then, and I would try to enter the 1243 on the Sub 7 or the Sub 7 Trojan horse, or there was another default port. I think it was 9999. I think for Cult of the Dead Cow. Anyway, most people would execute a Trojan horse on computers and never secure it. So I would secure all these servers, especially Sub 7. Sub 7, those dudes made it so fucking easy to be able to not only be able to keep track of all your servers, but zombie chain them, which are now known as botnets, which eventually evolved into botnets. And you could control all your fucking Sub 7 servers from an IRC chat room. And every time one of your servers, like, one of your marks came online, it would notify the bot in the IRC chat room, like, hey, so-and-so's there. So you could program the bot to do some shit if necessary, or take some screenshots or do whatever. It was fucking unbelievable. Anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but those were the days. All right, those were the days. And by the way, the reason I had the feds contact me, because I had ADSL at the time. It wasn't DSL, it was ADSL at the time. And I used that fucking first, because I was one of the first ones to get an ISDN connection, because ISDN was 128K, 128 kilobytes download speed. If you didn't have that specially, kind of installed into your home, the default would be 56K, and 56K I don't think even came out till like 96. So before that, it was 33.6K, and it sucked a cock with it. So when you had 128K, you were the first ones to be solicited the ADSL connection. And the ADSL connection, I think, was like 1 or 2 or 3 megabytes, I think. And that's why I scammed the shit out. Anyway, I shouldn't even be talking about this. This was a long time ago. And by the way, when I was visited by the feds, you know what was the first thing they asked me? They were like, what are you doing? Because they didn't know. They had no idea what the fuck. Dude, they were caught off guard back then. They had no idea what the hell the internet was. They had no idea, like, why people were doing it, how people were doing it and shit. And that was the first thing they asked me, like, what are you doing, Nerd alert! Anyway, I got banned from ADSL, which was provided by Southwestern Bell at the time, which serviced the southwestern area of Texas. So I got banned. The feds were like, look, these fucking people from the fucking, ADSL, they're saying that you're doing some shit. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on, but you're going to have to. So I got banned from ADSL. And then I went to cable modem. Cable modem came right after that, and cable modem was way more than DSL. it was unbelievable. Anyway, but it was also easier to hack people on DS or on cable modem, because I don't know if y'all folks understand about cable modems, but cable modems, if you're on a node, because they integrated the cable modem technology in with the cable, like regular terrestrial cable technology. And as a result, what ended up happening is that a lot of juice, a lot of shit could go through that. So when I got cable modem, it was a dream, dude. It was a fucking dream. Anyway, over the old ghoster, can't forget dial-up internet. Yeah, no shit, man. Net zero connections. And cock troops, so you can do all that shit, but you can't do the basic shit on your show. I'm calling bullshit. Well, dude, it's less about technical shit. Like back then, you had to understand technical stuff. Now it's about like graphic user interfaces and how the designers of the program or the app, make the graphic user interfaces. That's really what it is. And because many of you young people, you've been put a device in your hand when you're a young person, you're even a child, and you're able to understand graphic user interfaces because that's what you were first introduced to, as opposed to understanding Unix command line and understanding Linux. Dude, I could hack anything back in those days, dude. I could hack a fucking Solaris server, a fucking dude, you name it, dude. Fucking load it. Dude. Anyway, I don't want to fucking. Anyway, give me a drink. Boomer versus excuses. Okay, dude. Dude, why do you? I don't want to bring up the 2016 shit I did, but come on, man. And what was this? Somebody said in the chat room. What's your name here? Bon C88. But built Linux computers in 2005. Hard to find drivers. You didn't build Linux computers or Unix-based operating systems to try to like be. You were doing that to gain access. I don't want to teach people how to hack here, but to gain shell access to a Linux server, which most fucking administrators didn't even know what the fuck that was. All right, let alone the Apache shit that came before that. It was so easy to fucking. Never mind. I don't even want to. I don't want to talk like how Anyway, of course, Linux were fucking fast computers because it was. You either had the driver integrated to whatever piece of hardware, or if you were a coder, you could be able to code the driver. Now, Red Hat Linux, on the other hand, was the first graphic user interface to be able to be a Linux-based operating system. And that's why Linux Red Hat to this day is still rocking ass, because it was, that's why, folks back in the 90s, the guys that had the biggest schlongs in the digital world were those that understood Unix-based command line. Anyway, I'm incriminating myself. Hey, that statutes of limitations, dude. Whatever I did back then, it's over, dude. Cock troops, everyone take a dick pic and see how quickly Ghost hacks your shit. I don't do that shit anymore. Although, if you did want to hack, the easiest way to hack, that's why when you have someone's IP address, if it's static, all right, if it isn't static, well, that's why, Trojan horses were there for. But anyway, never mind.